Welcome back to the Mike and Andrew Show. I'm Andrew Serwick here again with Mike Meredith. Mike, I know as Red Wings fans right now we are extremely stressed about everything that's going
hmm
on, but outside of that, how you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, it's been stressful, man. Uh, Lots of different scenarios that can happen.
And look, all we need to do is score one more point than Washington today. That's all we need to do, and we can make the playoffs. But um, yeah, no, we're gonna get into just a couple quick things here today. First thing, of course, we're gonna give a little bit of an update on the Arizona Coyotes moving, and then also we're gonna do our defensive lineman power rankings coming into the NFL draft. So let's get into it here. So it's pretty much official at this point, and there hasn't been an official announcement, and that is expected to happen tomorrow, uh, which is Wednesday. Um, but the team has toured the facility in Salt Lake City. So normally, if a team tours a location, it's pretty much a set in stone. Like, yep, that team's relocating because you think back to when the Thrashers relocated to Winnipeg before there was ever an official announcement. The team went there and they toured the facilities, and so yeah, it is looking extremely likely that this is going to officially happen. And Salt Lake City makes sense. I mean, it's obviously it's hosted the Olympics before, the Winter Olympics, um, and it's a rich hockey market. So I think it could obviously work out very well there. Obviously, the mayor really wants a team. Ryan Smith, of course, wants a team. He's been pushing for a team in Salt Lake City for a very long time. So yeah, but that's really all I got on it. But Thursday's episode, we should have an announcement by the time we record on Thursday. So we'll see what happens. Of course, it still does need to get approved by the Board of Governors, but the Board of Governors more than likely will approve it just because, yeah, they don't want to see an NFL team, NHL team playing in a college arena there. So, Mike, yeah, anything to add before we get into these power rankings here?
No, not much else to add. Just, they're going to be moving. It'll be good for Salt Lake City getting a hockey team. Arizona now, do they get a team? Um, Atlanta's been without a team now for a minute since they moved. Same thing at the NBA. When Seattle moved to Oklahoma City, they still don't have a team. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, but like I said, the NHL offered Merriweather a 5-year window to get an expansion franchise, so we'd be probably looking at a 4-team expansion in the future if he takes advantage of that offer. But let's get into it now with the NFL power rankings of these defensive linemen coming into this draft. Um, we're going to start off here with number 10 from Florida State, Fabian Lovett. He's 6'4", 314 pounds. Um, he's obviously a big boy, but he lacks explosiveness off the line. But it's very hard to move him. He's very strong, but just he lacks that explosiveness. But I think he's probably going to go somewhere, probably second or third round. This isn't necessarily the strongest draft for defensive linemen, especially considering how strong this draft is for so many offensive positions, and it's an offensive league now. So these guys maybe in a more normal draft go up a little bit higher, but he's probably gonna go second, third round here. But yeah, no, I like him. He had a good season with Florida State, but just he lacks that explosiveness off the line, and that could definitely cost him some draft stock there.
Yeah, he seems like a big body to throw right in the middle. Uh, be that D tackle. Probably be pretty good in the run, just kind of hold his ground. Probably won't be the greatest pass rusher just from the fact he's not really explosive off the line. So probably be used more for run stoppages and um, see if he can develop. Because if he can develop into a pass rusher, along with being able to stop the run, at that size, he's got potential.
Yeah, he definitely has potential. I think he could be a very good run stopper. It's just being a pass rusher as a defensive tackle in this league is really what pays those guys a lot of money. So maybe he can develop, but we'll just have to wait and see. Um, so moving up here, number 9 from LSU, we got Mekhi Wingo. He's 6'0", 284 pounds. Um, he uh, he missed 5 games to start the year after surgery. But he's a quick you know defensive lineman. The problem is that he's got some pretty short arms, so um, he struggles to get off of blocks effectively. But that said, he can, if he can use his quickness to his advantage. I think that would pay dividends for him in the NFL. But you have to get some arm strength if you have such a short reach like he does to learn how to shed some blocks as well.
Yeah, definitely gonna need to be on top of that. Definitely not as strong. Has some things that he can improve on as well. But LSU guy, I think that hopefully helps. LSU very established. But yeah, we'll see how he does with those disadvantages that you mentioned.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he goes about his career. Probably again like second, third round guy. Um, So yeah, moving on to number 8 here from Ohio State, we have Michael Hall Jr. 6'3", 290. Um, he played defensive tackle, specifically nose tackle, um, this last season. But sometimes a guy's size kind of dictates that position in the NFL. If he gets a little bit more weight on him, I think he could stay there as a defensive tackle. The problem is with him is he lacks some consistency. I say he has more flashes than he does consistency. Um, but he's a very good pocket disruptor. He just couldn't finish plays. So, and I agree. I mean, you can look back to the OSU and Michigan game this year, and he got to JJ a few times, but never was able to bring him down just because. Yeah, it just inability to really just finish plays, but he could definitely put QBs under pressure in this league, and that while that's good, he's got to start finishing plays as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get to the QB, that's good, but you got to be able to finish off the play as well. Because I mean, just getting there's one thing and getting pressure, but to get there and get the sack, that's another thing. So yeah, definitely needs to work on that. But yeah, another one that I think I'm high on. Definitely liked his game a lot. Definitely the one I'm most familiar with so far. So hopefully he can, uh, you know, be good for whatever team decides to draft him, and they can find a spot for him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes. If I think if he can just really just learn to finish plays, um, I think he could be one of those top defensive linemen in the league. But it's all about what situation he goes into and if a team can develop him. So moving on up here to number 7, and his draft stock would probably be a lot higher. if it wasn't for an incident that we'll get into here in a minute. But number 7 here is Tavondre Sweat from Texas. He's 6'4", 366 pounds. Brutally strong, huge, uh, just huge man. And he is fast for his size. Um, he could be one of the best, defensive tackles in this draft. But he's lost quite a bit of draft stock because earlier this month he got a DWI arrest. So that doesn't look too good for a prospective NFL player. So that might lose him some draft stock. But honestly, if that never happened, he'd probably be up a little bit higher on this list.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the Jalen Carter situation last year, where Jalen Carter was like consensus. Uh, I mean, some people were saying for a lot of the year that he was the number one pick. Um, looking back, uh, it's looking like they definitely were right with C.J. Stroud. Bryce Young ain't looking so good, but Jalen Carter fell almost out of the top 10 just because of his involvement in stuff off the field. And now this guy has the same problem where uh, super talented, has a lot of great skills, but that off the field concerns are going to be into play, and that's going to tank his draft stock.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he does go, but I think he's gonna be a really, really good NFL defensive lineman to come here. So moving on to number 6, again from LSU, is Mason Smith. He's 6'5", 306 pounds. Um, the biggest problem for him is just lack of experience. He only played 22 games in college. He lost a lot of time to injuries. He had a shoulder and an ACL, and then he also had a suspension in his career. Um, he has a lot of potential, but the problem is in the NFL, potential gets you fired, right? So, um, he has to be good because there isn't a lot of game tape on him. And like I said, I don't believe in really the combine all too much or, um, pro days, things like that, because it's not game tape. It's not live game reps. And they only have 22 games of film to look at compared to a lot of these other guys in this draft class where they have, you know, 30, 40 games to look at. So he's very athletic, but again, I think it's just that lack of experience, and plus the medical history already. I mean, an ACL and a shoulder injury that cost him to lose a ton of time. That's definitely going to lower his draft stock as well.
Yeah, it's another thing. So you have the off the field issues, and then you also have injury concerns. It's another thing that is going to tank a lot of players. Players who, scouting report and, even come out of high school or early college recruit, they were, really good, but they just didn't stay healthy. They had a lot of surgeries, and that kind of leaves it up unknown. Some players bounce back after their injury, and some players are never the same. So it's tough to say, this guy, another LSU guy, but yeah, that's tough. It's just going to be who's going to want to take that chance on him with those injury concerns in the past.
Yeah, injuries are always gonna make a guy lose some draft stock, but um, yeah, this guy can. I think he could be pretty good in this NFL in the NFL, but it's just a matter of can he develop into something because he did not have a lot of time to develop in college. So moving on to number 5 here from Clemson is Rook or Horo Horo. I don't know how to. That is a very fucking weird name. Or Hor Horo. Yes, or Hor Horo. That is
What a
okay.
name.
What a fucking name. He's 6'4", 294. Um, he he has a lot of really good raw physical tools, um, and he's very good with aligning himself either in gaps or head on with guys. So that's gonna catch a lot of scouts' attention. He has some very long arms though. Um, so that guy is so this guy can definitely do some damage with those. The problem is when he's double teamed, it's like he's not even on the field. He kind of almost just gives up when he's double teamed, and obviously that's gonna make you lose a ton of draft stock. But the potential again with him, it's there. It's just trying to adjust to the NFL level. Can he do it, and can he develop into something?
Yeah, another one who you're kind of hoping just based off talent that he can be that guy, but you're also taking a lot of big risks. This happens a lot in all the drafts where there's that player that like not as established. He has the skill set and the tools, but um, just they're not ready just yet. But you want to take them with somewhat of an early pick just because in case they do pan out and they are really good, but they also have a lot of big bust potential. So that's going to be the risk here. Seeing uh, how he's going to do. I mean, you said what Clemson guy, so
Yeah, he's a Clemson guy.
definitely had some experience, especially well, not really last year, but the years before being on championship level teams. So see what they can do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does here at the NFL level. Um, Moving on to number 4 here, Chris Jenkins from Michigan, 6'3", 299. Um, he's a little bit smaller and quicker than his dad, who was a 4-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle. Um, the he gives a lot of effort out there on the ice. Um, he's very strong, and like I said, he's very quick as well. Um, I think what really kind of lowers his draft stock a little bit is just he kind of lacks statistics, especially this year. And really over his career, I mean, 4.5 career sacks and 8.5 tackles for loss. But he's a big disruptor, but he just again just statistically he doesn't look that great.
Yeah, another one who has the ability. His father, very good player in the league, and um, just gotta be able to put the tools together to kind of live up to that legacy, I guess. But um, I think that again, with a lot of these defensive linemen, a lot of them have potential, and I've been saying that a lot through these drafts. Is potential, but that's the case. The NFL draft is so deep. I mean, you go third, fourth round, and there's still so many guys who are contributors today. Like, I mean, look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, fourth round pick. Tom Brady, just guys like that. So there's a lot of talent to be found. It's just seeing what you can do to bring out the best in these players.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Um, so moving on to number 3 here is Braden Fisk from Florida State, 6'4", 292 pounds. Um, he had a very good combine. I mean, 33.5-inch vertical. For a big boy, that's pretty damn good. And a 4.78 40-yard dash. He's played interior and exterior defensive line, which is obviously very good to have. Um, but the question about him really is, has he kind of reached his ceiling? I mean, he this past season was his 6th year playing in college, so development is kind of going to be the question of, can you develop this guy anymore? Has he reached his max potential already?
Yeah. Um, again, so we have another Florida State guy. They had a pretty solid team, even though they didn't make the CFP. But yeah, has he reached his potential? The combine numbers really do help. You know, being able to perform like that. But seeing if he's able to live up to the hype of being, what is he, fifth on this list?
Now he's third here.
Third? Yeah, top three defensive lineman in the draft. I mean, it's pretty high expectations.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And like I said, it's just because he's a 6th year senior. Um, it's just, has he reached his full potential already? And but the game tape shows, he can still be very good in this league. So it'll be interesting, of course, to see what happens here. And so moving on here to number two. Pretty unsurprising to me on this list. I mean, I think he's definitely a top two defensive lineman in this draft. Is Jerzon Newton from Illinois. He's 6'2", 304 pounds. This guy has great handwork and footwork. He can really push a pocket from the inside. Um, I mean, man, this kid at Iowa, not Iowa, at Illinois, he's part of the reason why Illinois' defense the last 2 years has been so good. Um, so yeah, this guy has great pass rushing abilities, but he tends to disappear in the run game at times. Um, but he's not afraid to go and chase after the ball either in the run game. So that's at least good to see. But again, just sometimes in the run game, he doesn't look all too well, like what he knows what he's got to do. But as a pass rusher, he's going to be elite here in the NFL for sure.
Yeah, one of Illinois' bright spots. Guy's going to be a beast, man. Good pass rusher, and that's one of the most important positions in the league, man. Getting a good pass rusher. I'd rather take a good pass rusher than a good run stopper, in my opinion. I mean, both are important, but to get to the QB, to put pressure on him, that's going to be so key. And I think any team is going to be looking for that in this draft. So definitely going to be a very high pick, very cut pick for the D line.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to probably go first round. Probably somewhere in the late teens, early 20s. Certainly before the Lions could ever get to him, that's for sure. So now moving on to number one is Byron Murphy from Texas, 6 foot, 297 pounds. Um, this guy is, I mean, he's very quick off the ball. He will bulldoze guys, and I've seen him do it, bulldoze guys off the line. Um, but um, for what he can do with his size, it is truly incredible. Um, he's got some decent arm length, and that's good for a guy with his size, with how short he is. Um, he he's compact, but man, he is just so good. He's so talented. I can't really think of a flaw, and obviously, uh, having watched a lot of Texas this year, um, yeah, this guy is gonna definitely go places in the NFL.
Yeah, as you say, Texas is back. um, yeah, great, great player in this draft. Did a lot of good work. Did a lot of good work at Texas, and can't wait to see this guy in the NFL.
Yeah, this guy is gonna be so good in the NFL, man. It's gonna be exciting to watch him as he develops in the NFL. So, anyway, so that's gonna really wrap it up here for us. Um, Shorter episode, of course. And Thursday's episode, of course, we're going to talk about anything that comes up with the Arizona Coyotes and that move to Utah. Like I said, we're expecting an announcement tomorrow, but it could be pushed back to Thursday. And then we're going to probably get into defensive backs. And then next week we'll hit linebackers, and that'll wrap up our power rankings for positional players in this upcoming draft. So rate, review, subscribe, help us out. Let us know what you want to see from us. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you guys on Thursday.